10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mars4 AMA. I'm here with Judas. You all have seen him before. For those of you who don't know, I'm Nick. I'm the Director of Game Development at Mars4, and Judas is the COO and also in charge of all of the MCC and web development. So today, what we want to talk about is updated roadmap, going over tasks we've completed, additional tasks, and how we see development moving forwards, as there is a lot of good news, especially in terms of multiplayer development. We're moving up the timetable on that as it's progressing faster than we originally expected. So let me...
Yes, let's jump straight into it, I guess. Can you share the screen and let's go through it?
Yeah, one sec. I wasn't prepared enough.
Perfect.
Okay. So if we look here at the Mars4 roadmap, let me also just post a link to it, and everyone can also just find this by Googling Mars4 roadmap. We have updated the roadmap to include all the additional tasks that we completed in Q1. And as of a couple days ago, we have completed all the tasks on Q1. Those of you waiting for the Mac build will know that that came out a couple weeks late. There was some additional QA that we needed to put it through before it was ready to go. But as of this moment, everything we planned for in Q1 and about another 100% worth of tasks have all been completed and delivered. The only one of the original tasks that we had set on the roadmap that was not delivered in Q1 is the chat on the MCC, and that we decided that it wouldn't be beneficial for our community to add that, as it would be dividing up the user base. So it was a strategic decision to maintain community communication and interaction with us and community interacting together on our main social platforms, which are Discord, Telegram, and then Twitter as well for updates and stuff like that. Moving forwards, in this quarter, we've already completed a few additional tasks that we weren't originally planning, or we hadn't originally included in the roadmap, being the real-time mapping system and the drop pod system. Those of you who have played the latest version of the 3D single player game will have noticed now that when you press M or on the minimap, it not only shows you a map of the land, but also stuff you've built on it, where your vehicles are, and that will go updating in real time. So as you build out your base, that will always stay up to date and in sync with those maps. There is some more functionality coming to the mapping system, but that you guys will need to wait for a game dev update for. Also, the drop pod system, those of you once again who are playing have already been experiencing that, where as you increase your productivity score due to building buildings or machines developing your land, you're getting drop pods with resources, plant seeds, tools, other assets to help with your colonization of Mars. Judas, do you want to add something?
Yeah, if you have done with the single player features, which have pretty a lot of them, we have already performed already 2 DAO votings through MCC. Second one is still ongoing. First one was more like for more or less testing purposes and not that important question. And the second one, we are having pretty important question about community pool distribution. And they see that some of the guys has already asked some questions about the community pool distribution. So we will about to answer it them a bit later. Then in the agenda, we do have P2P marketplace of resources. And to be precise, we already have developed it, and it's in final QA testing at the moment. So it's working fine, just making sure to catch all the edge cases. So we'll be releasing it very shortly, in a week, I guess. Missions and quests on MCC, we have postponed them for a while because of 2 reasons. Main reason we have directed our development into the multiplayer as much as possible, first one. And the second argument is that we're really working on shaping the gameplay functionality on MCC. So there are missions and quests are some kind of important part of the MCC ecosystem. So we don't want to rush it and deliver it not like really well fit function. So we're still shaping it. Another big feature, not a feature, but the product release of the second quarter will be the second generation colonist, which will be a woman. Have we shared some visuals already, Nick?
Not yet, but we're going to on this
Perfect.
live stream.
Yeah.
Because no one told me I couldn't.
Yeah, why not? And of course, the most important thing, the multiplayer sandbox version of 3D game. So we are kind of making a bit of the changes about how we will be introducing and releasing multiplayer version by version. So the multiplayer sandbox version is replacing the old one co-op version. So it's the similar thing, just technically it's the better way to deliver. Yeah.
What we decided to do recently, a couple months ago, as we were looking about how we would go about the first public releases of multiplayer, we came to the conclusion that it would be better to get those first versions out sooner. And the way to go about doing that is some of the developers and server engineers who had been working on the MCC will be assisting in that multiplayer development. So we get kind of all hands on deck to get that first version out as soon as possible. And we decided that by jumping straight to that first version of multiplayer, it will be quite rough, but at the same time, it will skip a lot of throwaway systems that we would be needing to set up otherwise if we were to first go with co-op and then multiplayer.
Yes.
The reason for that original co-op and then multiplayer pipeline was because we wanted to I was planning for the worst in terms of finding and compiling a strong enough team of server engineers, which are quite rare, honestly. And that hiring process and onboarding, and with the help from Judas's team on MCC, we were able to exceed our expectations in putting together all the server developers much sooner than I expected. And that's what led into this evolution to the release schedule for multiplayer.
Yeah, but that's more like behind the scenes things. Maybe we should introduce the community more like what the people will be getting in sandbox 0.3, 0.5 in these kind of versions. So what the sandbox stands for is we took an approach of very first release of a multiplayer, just release a sandbox mode. I mean, the free playground on one land where people will be able to experiment and try all the possibilities of existing single player mechanics. I mean, most of it, not all of it. By doing this, we will be able to first release, make the first release relevantly fast, and second, the crucial thing that we need to gather feedback from people, what they having fun doing in the game, in the multiplayer, just to make the multiplayer right and to define the mechanics in the right way. So yeah, so that's why we are starting off from the sandbox mode. Nick, do you have something to add up?
No, I think you've covered a lot of the main points.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that the first implementation of multiplayer is designed more as a technical test in a way, so that we can start getting traffic into the game and we can start improving all of the back-end architecture elements. So don't expect that the first version will be feature-rich or anything. There will be less functionality than is in the single-player game because we're adding things one at a time and testing them sequentially. But you will be able to drive around, you will be able to build stuff. You'll probably just be given a bunch of resources to use for building and upgrading and exploring. At the moment, the current plan is that we won't have any mining in the very first version of multiplayer. That will come in a later stage. And yeah, I think that covers it.
Yeah, and so one of the community questions was like about. Yeah, we'll get into the next, I guess.
Yeah, we'll
And
finish the roadmap and then we can jump in.
yeah, and 0.3 and 0.5 versions. I mean, we do not have the super exact list of each improvements which will occur on the next version. I mean, we'll be mostly reacting on the feedback of the community and developing and shaping the game according to their needs, to where they having fun. So, yeah. As well, in the Q3, we're looking forward to release a Click Beetle rover. I mean, we were working on it for a while. I mean, so we're really excited to release the new vehicle. We're getting a lot of insights on mining exploration improvements on MCC to make it more interactive, to make it more interesting, to make it more immersive. So we will be releasing some small to mid-size improvements on MCC. And for the end of the year, we're looking forward to release a huge Shire rover and mostly focus on improving multiplayer sandbox mode and preparing and looking forward to the full-scale multiplayer feature complete beta release in the end of this year. Yeah, and we have a community questions, not that much of them, but let's handle them. And
I just, as we were doing this, I noticed something we need to fix. For some reason, it's called the Shire Rover. It should be the Shire HLVT, I think.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I just noticed that and sent that along to Chris to fix.
Alex is asking, will everyone be able to try multiplayer or only those who have NFT colonist? We are looking forward to landowners first to provide them access to the very first version of multiplayer, and about a week later for everyone else. So that's what we are looking forward. And will they add Deimos to Mars, Moons, Phobos, and Deimos? Alex is asking. We don't have.
We will be. At the moment, we've only added Deimos. At the moment, we've only added Phobos, but we'll be adding Deimos as well. There's just kind of an interesting lighting conundrum, which is that when you have two moons in the sky, the sun is reflecting off of both of them, which means you have like two directional shadows coming, and we need to figure out a better way to deal with the lighting implementation for them. Otherwise, if both moons are in the sky, it could be really bright. Whereas if we don't make it that bright, then when there's only one, it would be quite dark. And if there's no moons, it'd be pitch black. So we're balancing out like realism and being able to actually see what you're doing. And that's just the reason why I've only implemented a single moon for a moment.
And the Max Cooper AC is asking about what the difference between multiplayer versions. So we kind of discussed it 10 minutes ago. And he's asking as well, what will be the limit of number of players? We're looking forward into about 100 players at a time in one land. But we will really need your guys' help to test it out. Mm-hmm. I mean, how much it can handle and what is the ping on different sides of the world regarding the server's physical location and stuff. So the handling maximum number of players is one thing. Handling it well and with the decent ping is different. So we want to tweak it along the road as well. And Max Cooper last question: how we use saves? Now we use saves. How will it be different version of the game? So multiplayer.
In multiplayer, it functions the same way as single player. The difference will be that the server is the one with the save file and updating the save file instead of the individual player.
Constantly.
However, constantly, and storing backups so we can roll back and stuff like that. However, the first version, multiplayer 0.3, I'm not sure if that will be saving or if it will be regularly resetting to 0. I suspect it'll be regular resetting to 0. But that's something we'll discuss more as we get closer to its launch.
Yeah, perhaps. And the Max Cooper is asking, many are interested in the question of the price tag for Click Beetle and Shire rovers. I mean, the balancing of the price is directly tied to productivity score, so it's not an easy and straightforward question to answer the pricing of the product. So we're really, to be honest, working on it to the very last days. So yet we can't comment it more. Oh, some footages.
Just some background footage. I quickly asked Spiros for some footage to play in the background of the stream, and what we got is a lot of raw footage that they'll be using to put together the female colonist trailer. So some interesting sneak peeks. We can carry on with where's the list of questions. I lost it. Say again?
You want me to continue? I have them.
Yeah. We just where were we? Sorry.
Sheldon is asking, will NFT be sold through a P2P marketplace, or there will be a transfer from wallet to wallet? Right now, the very first version of P2P marketplace meant to be used for resources sharing only. I mean, through MCC, and we're really looking forward together with the release of multiplayer further versions to synchronize the resources between MCC and the game, so the P2P marketplace of resources becomes really handy in this case. And we are yet not rushing to work on a P2P marketplace for rovers and colonists, only because the rovers can be shared through renting system at the moment, so it kind of serves the purpose. What if I just want to give NFT to my friend or give a gift? So it's related with the unlocking the NFTs, which will eventually happen with the full-scale multiplayer, which we kind of looking forward to develop as soon as possible. And the first versions of concepts of it should appear in the end of this year. So yeah.
The first version of multiplayer will be in this quarter. Just to clarify.
Yes.
So
distribution of community pool. Pavel Tarasov, which I chatted earlier today, is asking about the community pool distribution and where will users get the tokens, to our wallet or in-game account. So the community pool distribution, about which the voting is happening at the moment, so you can look at it at and the governance tag on MCC will be distributed to your wallets, not to the game wallets. So yeah, so you will able to use the funds whatever you want, not not restricted to MCC. And regarding tokens for constructing, GJT is asking, here's a very important question. From the info I could get, the Mars team and investors hold majority of the tokens, and minor percentage is available in DEXs and SEXs. What is that? Can we be sure you guys won't dump it all on centralized exchanges, buyers when the price goes up? The thing is that, as you see, guys, for a while, I mean, the whole team of ours is really believers of this Mars4 project, and some huge good news are coming up one by one, and I don't want to go ahead straight, but the next week, I mean, we will be having some more good news. And we have, I mean, no interest of short-term dumping the token, because we are really believe in growing it, and all the wallets of ours can be monitored, and you can make sure yourself that we have no history of dumping the token in any form, and we are not looking forward to do that. I mean, there is no reason for that. We just
all of us are here for the long run, and I think that should be very evident by now.
Yeah, I mean, we're using Mars4 tokens that much, like how much we need for to fund the development, and just expanding the project. So I hope.
But as I said, I think the important thing is that all the wallets are public. Everyone is welcome to track them, and it's you can see that we have no history of any such actions as well.
Yeah, and Newton Butler question Mars4 target on next bull run season? Question marks. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are really looking forward of releasing that once again mentioned multiplayer, which will be the enabler for most of the people to get use of their lands, as well as revenue generating, asset sharing and stuff. So it will be a huge enabler for a bunch of the functions, and I'm really excited about it.
Someone else was joking around in the YouTube chat about how the meme used to always be when potato, and now the potatoes are in the game. They were joking about when touchpad, because some of the functions within the game don't work very well on laptop touchpads, and that I can also say is soon. We're redesigning the user interface and the interactions of the building, upgrading, destroying tool, so that it not only will it work much easier on touchpad, but you'll be able to set the tool into a specific mode, such as upgrade mode, and then just click on every single building piece you want to upgrade, which has been a requested feature for a while now.
Perfect. I see one more question about how the people can make money out of the land, and can it be pledged to obtain income without playing the game? Yes, it could. As you know, guys, we do have community pool thing dependent on your personal productivity score. So this is direct way of getting a share of community pool, which we're about to share
or to vote on distributed.
Yeah, indeed. We do have the last question of the Max Cooper, right? Earlier in the roadmap in Q3 there was PTP marketplace, NFT marketplace. In this regard, I would like to clarify the question of the date of unlocking land NFTs. So as mentioned before, I mean unlocking NFTs mostly makes sense when they have normal utility for them to be traded among the users, right? So we're doing that as soon as the full-scale multiplayer on the whole land, on each of the land, is taking place. So the first version of full-scale multiplayer we are looking forward to have at the end of this year, the first experimental versions. So yeah,
but to clarify, I believe that the version that we have a feature complete version planned for the end of this year. However, the unlocking of the lands we're planning when we officially release like 1.0. But at the end of this year, we'll be releasing a feature complete beta where all the functionality is in. However, progress will still be reset a couple of times as we need to be balancing economy, getting feedback on the live system. So even once the game is done and multiplayer is done or ready for like version 1.0, we still want to have another couple months to make sure that we can balance it or catch any issues. Not to say balance, like by this point, we will have implemented everything that we see necessary for version 1.0. But it's always good to have a little bit of extra time with the running economy and stuff just to test it all and make sure it all works as expected.
Perfect clarification. I mean, because the leap between the sandbox mode and the full-scale multiplayer as we define it, I mean, the full-scale, we define a multiplayer which takes place on each of the person's land. I mean, you can select whatever land you want, go to it.
There's many elements to defining it, not just building on your own land, but the persistency of it, being able to move resources and objects between lands. Like it's
yeah, so this is a huge chunk, to handle, and we're really kind of hesitant about publishing an exact date or exact month of of releasing a full-scale multiplayer. So we are just talking about the first experiments on the end of this year. Yeah, so that's a perfect clarification.
Okay, I think. Do we have any other questions?
I'm just looking through the live chat, and Spiros is chatting something with Max Cooper. I guess we can answer them in community channels. No.
Yep, it seems like that's it. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, although this is a live AMA, we're always available. We'll always be reasonable. Sometimes we get added at 3 o'clock in the morning, but within reason, we're always around on the community channels, on Discord, Telegram, and Twitter, and happy to answer any questions you have. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, guys, and we will see you again soon.
See ya, guys. Bye.
Bye. Whoops, I just left the studio instead of ending the broadcast. Blooper of the week.